I'm Paige.
I'm Crazy.
And this is the Creative as a Mother podcast.
Bringing the shit show to you. Okay. Here we go. I don't know. What's up? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Tired.
Same.
As always.
Same.
I think I was up every 2 hours with Lennon last night.
No.
All her molars are coming in right now. They're like extra swollen. So she just wanted a nurse all night, but I'm trying to like not. So yeah.
That sucks.
That was last night.
That really sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know looking forward to that, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
At all.
Are you sleeping now at all?
Better than I was before my iron infusion. Before my iron infusion, I was like, I felt like I had insomnia.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I'm to the point where like I can't make myself hold my pee in the night anymore. Like before, I would wake up and I'm like, okay, this is uncomfortable. Like I would have to pee, but I don't want to get up, so I would like adjust to where I didn't feel it as much. And now it's like, I have to go.
Yeah.
So I was up twice last night to pee, and then the second time I just couldn't go back to sleep, so I was up for like an hour. And I contemplated just getting up.
What time was it?
When I contemplated getting up, it was 4:24. And then I was like, well, and I had my alarm set for like 6 something because I really needed to wash my hair this morning. So
I was going to tell you your hair looked really nice today.
Because I washed it this morning. So I wanted to make sure I got up and like had time to shower and wash my hair and dry it and stuff before I had to worry about like shuffling the kids out the door.
Right.
And then I was like, well, if I fall asleep like right now, then I could sleep for like 2 hours. And then I didn't fall asleep until after 5. And then I didn't get up. I snoozed my alarm for an hour, so I didn't actually get in the shower until 7:20.
Yeah.
And then was rushing the kids.
Well, I can talk about postpartum and mental health because it goes hand in hand.
Perfect.
I just found some statistics.
Ooh. We like numbers.
That were very interesting to me. So this said women in their childbearing years account for the largest group with depression in the United States.
Damn.
And that more than 800,000 women will suffer from a perinatal, is that how you say that? Did I say that right? Mental health and anxiety disorder in the United States every year. 800,000.
That's insane. It's even more insane because it's not... I feel like it's like so taboo and we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's like, yeah, it's nuts. And honestly, I went off on a tangent to my midwife with Camilla about this. Like when I was pregnant with her, I didn't know that I had anything until Lula, until like my third postpartum experience, because I would pass all of the tests that not tests, but like the questions that they ask you at the pediatrician and at your 6-week checkup, because those are all so focused on like obvious depression.
Yeah.
And mine was all anxiety, and it was all like manifesting as like rage. So I didn't flag anything because I wasn't hopeless. I wasn't sad all the time. I was just like on edge and mad and like worried about like something happening to my kid.
Which I feel like...
So, like, how even accurate is that number?
Right.
If it's only, like, flagging, like...
Yeah.
The more exaggerated symptoms.
Yeah, no, that's true. Because I feel like even when they do talk about, like, those intrusive thoughts you may have or anything, they're always like, it's normal. Like...
Yeah.
But it's not.
No.
I mean, like, it is, but it's not.
Yes.
And you should be talking to someone. I got annoyed. Well, there's one doctor at my office that I'm not thrilled of. She just, like, doesn't listen. It's very, like, in and out and, like, whatever, just going through the day. But I was thinking about upping Zoloft. And I was unsure about it, and I wanted to talk about it with my doctor. And all I had said was like, I was thinking about it, considering it. She goes, oh yeah, we can up it. We'll up it 50 milligrams, whatever. And that was it. That was the
You
conversation.
don't even know why I want to up it.
And I was like, shouldn't you ask me, like, why?
Right.
What's going on?
Why isn't this working anymore?
Are you in therapy? Like, why? I'm all about, like, going on medication if you need it, but, like, why? I feel like that's just, like, their fix. And for, like, anything really in, like, women's health, they're like, here, just go on this. And, like, you're fine. Like, they never, like, ask questions. Some doctors do, obviously. Like, there's a couple of doctors I really like in my office that will, like...
I need to find a PCP. It's been on my list.
Yeah.
I need to do that.
Yeah.
I think my midwives can only write me, like, my initial prescription.
Oh, yeah.
And then I have to follow up with my PCP.
Okay.
Which I don't have, so I have to...
Right.
I should probably do that this week.
Yeah.
Probably take care of that.
Make a note of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It just, like, blows my mind that still, like, it's talked about a lot more.
Yeah.
But just still how it's
like, it's very misunderstood, I think. And...
like, why aren't we doing more still?
Right.
Even as we're becoming, like, more and more aware of things.
Yeah.
There still doesn't seem to be, like, like, what are we going to do for it? Instead of just continuing to, like, push medication on you and...
Yeah. And...
wish for the best.
Oh my gosh, I could go off on a tangent about this forever. But, like, there's obviously so many other moving factors that would, like, contribute to this. Like, better leave.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that. Because... I don't know, going back to... I have been obviously very lucky that I've never had to do this, but I cannot fathom having to take my 6-week-old baby and either drop them off with even a family member or, like, have to put them in daycare and then go to my full-time job. Like, I can't.
You're still...
the thought of that is, like, paralyzing for me.
You're still recovering.
Seriously.
Like, very much so.
Mm-hmm. Well, we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
Didn't we? That, like, we had, I think I had shared
Yeah, it was like a reel about...
the first, like, you're in your postpartum period until, like, they're 7.
Mm-hmm. Like, your body's not, your hormones and everything aren't, like, balanced.
Not that we need, like, a 7-year leave from work.
But, right. No, but, like...
that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And then just be like, okay, here you go, 6 weeks. That aren't even paid. Have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's... Again, like, going to the doctor, so I had 2 C-sections, and this last time I just felt like, I still feel like I have so much, like, what's the word? It's not like, it doesn't hurt, but it just almost feels like tender, or like if the kids jump on my stomach a certain way, like, it hurts. Like, it doesn't feel normal.
I don't know. I've never had one, so I don't know how, if this actually works, or if... I'll have to send you the person that I follow. It's she's a pelvic floor therapist, but she also talks about C-section scars and, like, different things that you can, like, do to manipulate them. I don't know if it actually works, but she said that a lot of that, I remember watching a reel for it, but she said that a lot of, like, the discomfort and pain that people feel post, even like years after, is because of the way that the scar tissue adheres to, like, the ligaments and the skin underneath. Or not skin, but tissue underneath.
I mean, that would make sense.
Well, yeah, because it's, like, major surgery and, like, it's all, like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, the last time I went into the doctor and I was, like, explaining things, I think it was probably, like, 6 months. And she's like, yeah, that's all normal. She's like, you're only 6 months postpartum, like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, again, so that's all we're going to talk about? Not, like, things I can be doing to, like, help
it? Right.
Like, that, I don't know.
Well, even with pelvic floor stuff, we were talking about this last week.
I think so.
Peeing your pants.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, that's normal. You just pee your pants now, but it's not. Right. It's not, like, we don't have to settle for that just because it's common. It doesn't mean that it is normal.
Exactly. Yes, that's it. It's things are common, but it's not normal.
We shouldn't be peeing our pants.
No.
Or just dealing with discomfort and pain for years.
Right.
Because that's normal.
You can do something about that. Okay, well, so this post also was saying postpartum depression is the most common and most underdiagnosed, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, complication of childbirth, and postpartum anxiety is also considered the most common complication of childbirth. Which I'm glad I mentioned anxiety because, like we were saying, there's a very big difference. And so when I was pregnant with Axel, I obviously very much so wanted to be pregnant. Like we were trying and I was very excited. But as soon as I got pregnant, I had this like overwhelming sense of anxiety. Like anytime anyone talked about me being pregnant, it freaked me out. Like talked about buying stuff for the baby. Like what are we going to do? Like all these questions, it just like consumed me and made me so anxious, even though I was so excited.
Yeah.
And I never knew anyone that had anxiety while they were pregnant. Right. I had like kind of heard about it like postpartum, but never while you were pregnant. Mm-mm. And I remember I like slowly started talking about it.
Sorry, I have a cramp.
I'm like hurting for you watching you move like that. I know I felt very, very alone. That it just wasn't. That's when I started going to therapy, but I just felt very alone. That like I didn't know anyone else that had experienced that. Like my mom and my sister both had very, very different pregnancy experiences. They were the type of people that loved being pregnant, felt great, like every step of it was just amazing. And as much as I like very much so wanted to be pregnant and loved it, was not enjoying it at all.
Well, and I think that part is hard too because people expect you to just be so like grateful and like over the moon. And so then you feel like you can't actually like express how you're actually feeling because you are not supposed to be feeling this way.
Right.
Even though it's totally normal to feel that way.
Yeah. I remember that's
a huge life change.
Yeah.
Every time you have a baby, it's a huge life change. Yes. Like it is completely normal to be like feeling anything that you're feeling.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. And also pregnancy just sucks.
It does.
Like it's really cool that our bodies can do this, but it also like it hurts.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable and we go through a lot. Like it's okay to say that it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks even when it's fine.
It does. You don't have to enjoy your entire your pregnancy at all. No. Like I remember we were in Detroit for like the holiday, those markets or whatever. And some lady at her booth or whatever was like, oh, isn't pregnancy so magical and beautiful? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I've been like super sick though, and it's like kind of been hard to enjoy it. Like I was just like, I was done at that point, like very pregnant. And she was like, yeah, but you should just take it all in. It's so beautiful. And I just wanted to be like,
okay, do you want to come cook for me every morning? Like,
I'm like, I've been sick almost every day. It hurts to be standing right now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, absolutely. Growing a human inside your body is incredible, but it sucks.
It sucks.
Don't make me feel bad for like not enjoying this 24/7. And I was just very shocked that was like coming from another woman too. That she was like, oh, but like
I feel like we're the worst.
Yeah.
We are the worst at that for like every stage of life.
Yeah. Did you deal with anxiety, depression while being pregnant?
This is the first baby that I've had it bad while I was pregnant.
Yeah.
Everything else was after. Or for the other 4, it was after. But we talked about this a lot in therapy this year. So we were done. Like so done. I knew the minute I was pregnant with Camilla that she was going to be my last baby. I didn't want to do this again. I didn't want to give birth. Like I didn't want to be pregnant with her. I wanted her, but I didn't want I did not want to go through all of that again. No. So as soon as we knew we were pregnant with her, I knew like, okay, I'm never doing this again. This is it. And so I was done. Like mentally I was there. I was good. We're done. And then Zach dragged his feet. And then finally scheduled a vasectomy. And we were in like the home stretch. And then I was like late on my period in February, but we had like a really rough month, like sickness upon sickness upon sickness. And so I was like, okay, it's just stress. It's just stress. Like, there's no way I could be pregnant. And then one of my friends was like, you should just pee. Like, just pee because it doesn't hurt you to just pee. So I did. And I peed in a cup because all I had was those, like, cheap dipsticks from Amazon. And as, like, the pee was spreading on the stick, the control line was, like, because there's the test line comes first and the control line. Yeah. So the pee hits the test line first. It was already red. And I was like,
interesting.
Cool. Is this test broken? Like, did they put it together wrong? Like, so I dipped a couple more, and they all did the exact same thing. And I was like, okay. Okay, well, this pack is old. And then I looked at the back of them, and they expired in 2021 because they were from, like, Camilla.
Yeah.
And, so they're from 2020. And I was like, okay, these are expired. Like, these are faulty. So I hid my pee under the sink because I didn't want to have to hold my pee again. So I literally hid my pee under the sink and told Zach that I had to go to Target and immediately left and bought a first response. Came home, went right to the bathroom, dipped it in my hidden pee, and that was also instantly positive. So then I was like, okay, we're doing this.
Yeah. And
I was just angry. And I was angry and resentful and just so mad for weeks. And then, I don't know, it really took me until, like, probably till, like, 32 weeks before I was like, okay, I can enjoy this now.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't want, this is, like, Camilla, stop nursing. Like, I don't want to do all of this again. Like, I was so done.
Yeah.
And, like, I want this baby. I want all of that goodness, but I don't want to do this. I had started working out again, like, really intensely. And so I was pissed about that because I had, like, goals for that this year. And then, okay, well, let's just wreck my body again. Like, after I've just done all this work to fix, like, my pelvic floor and my core and, like, all of these things. And now we're just going to demolish it again. And I don't know. So I was really angry and resentful, and, like, I had a hard time, like, adjusting, I think. So that made me, like, I was anxious, and probably the first time I ever felt, like, truly, like, depressed. But my therapist was like, you have to let yourself feel these feelings. This was a huge, like, life-altering surprise that was just thrust upon you, and you are allowed to, like, mourn the life that you had envisioned for yourself before this happened.
Right.
So this was the first time that it was bad while I was pregnant.
Yeah. Okay, so what about after?
So
with all of them.
This is, like, the weirdest thing to remember, but I was super anxious with Beckham, and everybody chalked it up to, like, you're a first-time mom, you're a first-time mom, you're a first-time mom. But my sister-in-law had a baby 8 months before Beckham was born. And there's, like, a stark contrast. Like, we're just different parents anyway, but there's a stark contrast in how we both, like, were postpartum. And I will never forget that we were at Zach's aunt's one day, and I had to go to the bathroom, and Beckham was, like, I don't know, 6 months old, maybe 7 months old. So, like, peak, like, anxiety separation happening for him as a kid or as a baby. And, like, that developmental milestone. And I walked away from him to go to the bathroom, and Zach was right there. And he, like, just lost it because he couldn't see me anymore. And I remember my mother-in-law whispering to Zach's aunt about, like, how she keeps telling me that I need to, like, be away from him more and, like, all of these things so that he doesn't do this. But I, like, literally could not. I couldn't. It, like, I hadn't left him ever, but to, like, maybe run to the grocery store. And even in that time, it was like, okay, well, we're separated now, so something really bad is going to happen.
Yeah. I still feel like that.
Oh, so do I. But I just, everybody was like, it's normal, like, because you're a first-time mom. Like, you need to suck it up and get over this and, like, be away from your baby more, but you're a first-time mom, so whatever. And then, but this is the weird thing that is weird to remember. We were sitting in the car at a red light outside of Target, and, like, our Target is in a very safe area, and I was just sitting there at this red light, and it was dark, because it was like winter, and I just had this overwhelming, like, I remember texting Zach about it, this overwhelming feeling about, like, what if I, like, got carjacked right now? How would I get my baby out of the car?
Yeah.
Like, that is not normal. Like, those are not normal thoughts to have. And, yeah, nobody says anything or talks about it. And then, with Nellie, it was also really bad. And but people were like, well, you have a 16-month-old and you have a new baby and you have 202. This is a huge adjustment for you. And you're like navigating all of these things and juggling all of these things that are new. So it's different. And then Tallulah was bad too, but hers was like, I was really, really ragey after her.
Mm-hmm.
And which is so funny because the third one, the 3 is my favorite transition, and I literally tell everybody this all the time. 3 is magical. 3 is the best transition ever. Because you've already, like, yeah, listen to this, Jake. It's great. Because you have, like, the newborn care down, mastered juggling multiple needs at once. 3 was my favorite transition. Like, I feel there's a confidence that I didn't have before, like, in my own mothering. Like, it was great.
Yeah.
But I was also, like, the most ragey that I've ever been.
Yeah.
She was, like, maybe 4 months old, and Zach was like, something is wrong. Like, this, what is going on with you right now is not normal.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh, like, if he's noticing and he's telling me, because men are oblivious, if he's telling me something is not normal, then, like, what is actually going on? And that's when I started, like, looking into, like, Googling and, like, all of this stuff. Figured out there was a difference between postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression. Yeah. I didn't do anything about it because when was I going to have time for therapy at that point in my life? And I even still am, like, I'm, like, really afraid of medication. Like, I'm an advocate for it for everybody else, but for my own self, I'm, like,
it's scary.
It's but it's also, like, part of my anxiety.
Yeah.
Like, because you hear people talk about how it, like, sometimes takes a long time to find the right dose, and they feel really, like, they feel worse when they're on the wrong dose. So in my head, it's like, well, the devil you know, like, I'll just grin and bear it. And, yeah, I don't want to do that this time, so I've already asked for meds. But that was my mentality. So I didn't take anything. And then with Camilla, I was aware with Camilla, so I feel like it was better just because I had that awareness.
Yeah.
And I also was better about taking my, like, supplements with her, and specifically took supplements after her that were, like, supposed to help with all of the anxiety symptoms that you have, like fish oil, and making sure I was taking my vitamin D and something else. I forget.
Do you feel like it helped you?
I do. Yeah. I don't think it was as bad.
Yeah.
But this is, like, outside factors and whatever. But some people know this, some people don't. Zach is in substance abuse recovery. And so he was a mess with Beckham and with Nellie postpartum. So I didn't really have, like, the support that, like, I should have had. So I think that was probably a contributing factor. And then he was in a much better place with Lou. And so I think that helped him, like, be aware because he was sober and, like, good. Yeah. And then he was great with Camilla too. So I think those things helped. But he had, like, a really awful relapse this year over the summer. And so now I'm, like, more concerned about it this time. Which also probably contributed to my mental health this pregnancy because we've just had so much going on.
How does it not?
Right. So I don't know. I feel like I'm more, like, aware, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm being more hyper aware of it this time than I was any other time, which is why specifically I've asked for medication this time. And because they say that if you have issues with it during pregnancy, that it's more likely that you'll have, like, it'll be worse for you after. Yeah. So.
Well, it helps just being aware of it in general, whether you're going on medication or not, because at least it's, like, that little bit of being like, okay, you're not crazy. Yeah. Like, this is. Not normal. Right. Common.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens this time. But
you'll be good. Yeah, with Axel. So yeah, I dealt with the prenatal anxiety. And then I had Axel 2 weeks before the world shut down for the pandemic.
It's like a perfect storm.
Yeah.
For somebody who's already, like, prone to anxiety.
It was it was like very scary but nice because he was born at the end of February, so it was like still cold and flu season, and I was just like scared about RSV and all that. Like, I don't know, I feel like so many people were like posting about it on social media, so it made me like extra anxious about it.
For sure.
And then, so it was kind of nice to be stuck in our bubble and not have anyone touch them, not
Right.
have to worry about like sharing my baby with anyone. Like,
That's good for your bonding with him too, even if it's more isolating.
Yeah, which I was going to say this earlier when you were talking, because I keep seeing videos about this too, about how when people want to help you when you have a newborn or whatever, and they're like, let me come hold the baby and you can go do this or whatever. It's like,
I don't want to do shit. I want to hold my baby.
That's like, you just had a baby, you were carrying that baby for 9 months, 10 months, and you don't want to just hand off your baby. Some people do, and that's totally fine. Like, if that's what you need to like do for you.
Yeah.
But not everyone feels that way. Like, I didn't want anyone touching my baby.
No.
Ever. Like, for a very long time. I still kind of feel that way, but like, that was handing my baby off was like, okay, you get like 5 minutes and then give me my baby back. Like, right. I need that. My baby needs that. And that's totally normal.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
Yes. And it's normal for your baby to like, you know, to cry when you're not there and like to want you in the middle of the night. And like, I feel like we're made to feel, even with like sleep training and stuff, and like I know people that do that and it works for them and stuff, but it like was not for us. But like, it's normal for your baby to need you in the middle of the night. And like,
and our society like doesn't.
No.
I saw this thing posted on Instagram. It was a reel, I think, not that long ago, or he was just posted. I don't remember. But we as a society shame moms for responding to our baby's needs.
Yes.
But then push products that do what we should just be doing.
Yes. I know what you're talking about.
And it's like, so these products are awesome. Like the snoo, it's so great. Yeah. Like, sure, let this shake, like not shake, but like rotate your baby or like, you know, rock, whatever it does, your baby, but you better not do it because the baby will come dependent on you.
Right. But we're coming dependent on a machine. Right. Like, where does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense at all.
And if you think about it, I don't know if it was a video or a post about this, but like, as an adult, like you normally have another adult with you in your bed. Why is that weird for your kid to not, like, they're inside of you for so long and then you're just supposed to like throw them in another room and expect that like they're okay? Yeah. And yes, some are. I know that works for some people, but like, I feel like moms are like shamed for like bed sharing or, you know, like.
So much of what you are supposed to do goes against every single gut instinct in my body. Yeah. Why? I don't know. And I think that makes our anxiety worse.
100%. Yeah. But whatever. Now that we went off on that tangent. but that's, yeah. So once, okay, with Axel, so once like we started having like people around, obviously like masks were like very big. So we still had people wear a mask. I like, no, absolutely like no kissing and stuff. But like that, being a new mom, coming out of the pandemic, or still in the thick of it, but like being around people and like not knowing about like whatever.
Well, because we didn't really know what it was like. It was still like literally killing people because we didn't know anything or like how to manage it or do anything.
It was very much still in the phase of like cleaning all of your stuff and like, you know, very intense. So
and then you have you're in this brand new phase of life.
Yeah. Yeah. And they didn't know yet how it affected kids and like newborns and stuff. So
or like long term. Yeah.
Yeah. But then I just like started getting this pressure of like, from people not being able to see the baby enough or like not being able to hold the baby enough, not being able to kiss the baby. And
I like, appreciate that people like love and want to see my kids, but also like the entitlement is insane.
The entitlement drives me crazy. And that gives me so much anxiety too. Because it's not your baby. Yep. It's not your baby. Yeah, like you had your babies.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I could go off on that, but I won't. Yeah, so I dealt with crazy anxiety post too. And then I think Axel was like, I think I've told you this story. I think it's when I really noticed like my anxiety was like it wasn't just like normal first baby thing. We were up north with friends. Axel was maybe like 6 months, maybe a little older. Um, we were leaving to go home, and we were going around like this turn, and all of a sudden we saw like a bunch of dust. And I just had like this weird feeling. I was like, Jake, stop. And he's like, what? I'm like, I don't like there's a lot of dust, like something's going on, like just stop. And then so he did, and then we see another car like up stopped. So we like slowly start pulling up, and this car, I think like around the turn, flew off the road and hit a tree. Like they were literally went airborne and hit a tree. The car was like demolished. You couldn't tell what kind of car it was. So of course it literally just happened.
Yeah.
So we pull off on the side of the road because obviously we were like one of the first people there. So Jake and then another car that was there, they get out to go to the car. So I'm in the car with Axel, and the whole time I'm like freaking out about that, but also I'm like, we're on the side of the road,
Like,
and there
are we
was an
gonna get
accident,
hit?
and like I think was he? No, he was on the right side. But the whole time I'm just thinking like we're gonna get hit now. We're on like the side of a road. So it just the whole event was very scary, and I just kept thinking if we would have left, because we like made a stop on our way. We like stopped at a gas station. And I'm like, if we didn't stop there, we could have been hit.
Right.
That could have been us. So ever since then, my anxiety in the car with him or anyone in the car with him just got like 100 times worse. Anytime I'd be driving, going through an intersection, I'm constantly thinking a car's going to come and hit us that I'm not going to see. Or going over like a bridge. Somehow my car is going to fly off the side of the bridge.
Yes,
like
I have very
my
bad
heart
anxiety
drops in
around
my
the
stomach.
car, too.
Yeah. It got so bad. Like I didn't like Jake driving him. We still we talked about this because my mom was over. We haven't let anyone drive the kids. And I think it's mostly because of that. Like that just like set me off and made me like, because it's not even about the person behind the wheel. It's about other people on the road, and like me not having that control that I was behind the wheel and in control of the situation. So that whatever. That was my anxiety with him. And I was going to therapy, and it was helping as much as it could. And then Lennon Lennon and I had less anxiety, but I think also the same kind of thing, like you said, you were aware of things, so like you just had better control of it.
It's like you can almost like talk yourself off the ledge a little bit.
Yeah. And then so I actually stayed because my anxiety was so bad with Axel. I I went on medication after I had him, and then ended up staying on it when I was pregnant with Lennon, which I was super hesitant about, but I just didn't want to feel the way I felt, and like my doctor convinced me that everything it would be fine. So I stayed on it during and after. And then had like a little bit of my normal like postpartum anxiety stuff, mostly with like sleep, and, like that stuff freaks me out. And then I also started dealing with like the rage part of it for the first time. Like
Sucks.
It is insane because that's like I feel like no one talks about like that part of the anxiety.
No,
the
because it's
rage.
embarrassing.
It like takes over.
Yeah.
And yeah, I felt like embarrassed around Jake that I was like snapping on him or like snapping on a baby or Axel, like or just like raising my voice, like feeling all of that, like my body felt hot and
and like literally I was gonna explode.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like I was like, why am I feeling like this?
Yeah. But we're bubbling, like we bubble all day long, and then like well, and you feel ridiculous because it's the littlest things that set you over, but it's because you've been like trying to keep control over all of the big things, and then the littlest thing will literally make you explode.
Yeah. I was gonna say the like being overstimulated, because that I don't think I ever really felt. I felt once with Axel. That was when I had my first like anxiety or panic attack. But that too.
Well, yeah, because that completely changes from one kid to two.
Yeah.
Because they're both like, they both need you and they're both like constantly touching you and they're like fully
Yes.
dependent on you and it's so easy to become overstimulated.
Yeah.
I was this probably contributed a lot to my anxiety after Nellie too. Beckham nursed through her entire pregnancy, and I assumed that he would just stop, like my supply would tank and he would stop, but my supply never tanked. And then it was like, okay, I'm not drying up, it's not going anywhere, but now like this baby is coming and I can't take away his comfort.
Yeah.
So I tandemed with them, and it was nice because he wanted to nurse every time she nursed, so I like, okay, you both are at least sitting here, and like I don't have to worry about what you're doing, but that's also like so much contact all the time. Yeah, so I think I was just like perpetually touched out and overstimulated, and I didn't know how to like handle that.
Yeah,
because he was also so young, like I couldn't like, I don't know.
The first time I've heard people talk about like being overstimulated, but one of my friends was over the other day with her kid, and Axel and her kid were just like screaming, being kids, but like just being obnoxious and making so much noise. And then Lennon was like clinging on to me, and then the guys were just talking and like being clueless of everything. And she had said something about like the sound and how like overstimulated she was, and I was like, I thought like I like hear other people talk about it, but like not actually. And I was like, wait, you feel that way too? Because I feel that, and that's what like triggers the rage in me.
Yep.
It's like so many sounds, and then being touched, and then of course with the dogs, like the dogs barking, and then the freaking cat like clawing at me, and it's my brain like I feel like it's literally like just spinning in circles, and I can't concentrate on anything, and then I just snap. It's like mom's lost her mind. My wife has lost her mind. Like Jake has probably looked at me so many times and been like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, because they just like, they have this ability to like tune it all out. And the kids don't hang on them like, like in the way that they hang on us. I don't do it just because my knee's going to work for it.
Yeah, they don't literally have someone attached to their body.
I have a really hard time. It's funny because Penelope struggles. I don't know why I just called her Penelope. Nellie struggles with this too.
It's like, who's Penelope?
The car is a big. So I don't know if you haven't listened before. She's on a break right now, but she's in occupational therapy for sensory issues, and she also has. Well, she's also. We're having her like evaluated at U of M. We're in like the process of that right now. And she also likely has like debilitating anxiety, which makes total sense. But a lot of our triggers are the same. The car is a big one for her. And I notice too, it usually is only when Zach is in the car though, that the car is also a trigger for me. But when I'm in the car alone with the kids, I can put on a movie for them and I don't mind the sound of the movie and they usually quiet down. And I'm the one that's controlling the motion of the car. But when Zach's in the car, he's usually driving. So now the motion is out of my control. So all of like, I can't anticipate the motion because I'm not the one directing the motion. So all the movement is like triggering for me. And then the kids might have like a movie on, or maybe he's listening to music and the kids all have tablets in the back. So it's all of these sounds, or they're yelling or fighting or talking or just whatever, or he's then on the phone. Like it's so much noises and movement and like things, and the air's not right, and like it's just too much. And, yeah, it's too much. Everything is too much.
I don't think Jake has. I noticed it for the first time that I of course was like having a day. Sorry, Jake, I'm putting you on blast. But he was also having a day. And he, I think, was feeling overstimulated. And it was the first time I, like, really noticed it on him. But the kids were just being, like, super loud. And they've been, like, fighting a lot. Like, Axel's been, like, in the thick of meltdowns right now. So, and Lennon just being Lennon. But he, like, kind of snapped at them. And I could tell he, like, felt bad. But then I was, like, also wanting to snap. So I was like, wait, you're not allowed to snap on him. And he's like, don't you ever have days like this? And I was like, yeah, but you're not allowed to. Like, I instantly felt like, wait, you're not allowed to feel this way. Only me.
I struggle with that so much because, well, like I said, Zach had like a terrible relapse this year, and it was for like rooted so much in like mental health crisis and
Yeah.
like things that he needs to like address with like childhood trauma and all of that. But I feel like we don't like, as much as we also don't talk about like postpartum mental health, we also don't like think about men's mental health at all.
Yeah.
And so for me, I am living in my brain all day, so I am the one that like I'm feeling like I'm always having a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
So I really struggle when he is also having a hard time, because in my head, like, I am constantly struggling, but now you're struggling too, so I have to keep it together because you're struggling, and I have to
Right.
prioritize the fact that you're struggling. So you can't be struggling because I need to be struggling right now because
Yeah.
I am struggling right now. And so I have a really hard time with that, and
Yeah.
like allowing him to have bad days.
Yeah. It's hard.
It's very hard. I feel bad because I feel like I have like no tolerance, and
Mm-hmm.
his bad days just make me really crabby.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, come on, I'm constantly holding it together for everyone.
Yeah.
Literally everybody. Can you please hold it together so that I can have a meltdown?
No, I'm glad.
You can't have a meltdown right now
Yes.
because I need to have one. But
Yeah.
I can't have a meltdown because you're having a meltdown.
Right.
So
could you stop having yours so I can have mine?
Yes. Yes.
No, I'm so glad you said that because, yeah, I've been feeling that a lot lately.
It's to the point, seriously, sometimes where he has told me, like, that he's afraid to tell me if he has a headache or doesn't feel good because I'm so mean when he is sick. And it's just because, like, come on. Like, I have to still parent and do all of these things. You don't get to be sick.
Yeah.
But that's not fair.
I know, it's not.
And it's not, I mean, I should be allowed to be sick too. But, like, it's
Right.
just, it's, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
The dynamic is very hard.
It is.
It's hard. It's hard.
It is.
Sorry, Ben.
Kinda.
Kind of, but not.
I'm a little sorry. Did anyone share stories? I feel like I didn't open them, or I saw.
Oh. Sorry, I hit on a Y from the Vagina Whisperer. My bad. Do you follow her? When she dresses up in the vulva costume, I die every time. Oh. Okay, what was I looking for? Oh, okay, well, this is on par for what we just talked about. This one, Frankie had shared a story to our Creative as a Mother Instagram about that we were going to be talking about this, and did anybody have any experiences or stories that they wanted to share that we could share? And then I reshared it on mine and got some responses that way. But she said, I wish I would have known about the anxiety that I was having after my first baby. I was so anxious all the time and didn't know why, and everybody kept telling me it was normal.
Mm-hmm.
But
because people just assume it's the first baby thing. But
it's not. It's so intense, and it's so, mine was debilitating.
Yeah.
I literally could not leave my kid, even though I desperately needed a break.
Right.
And I couldn't. Because if we were separated, something really bad was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I still feel that way. I can leave, and it will be okay, because I'm the one out of the house. I'm the one that's in control.
Mm-hmm.
Control.
Right.
Zach hates when I say that, because you're not in control of anything.
But you feel
continuously try to control everything around me. But I can leave and it's okay. But if he takes them somewhere, I'm a basket case, because the family is separated, so something bad is going to happen.
Yeah. But it's even because I try and encourage Jake sometimes to be okay, go take one of them out.
Yeah.
But it is instantly. I know I need it so I can relax or just have one and not feel overstimulated. But yeah, as soon as they're gone, you're wait, why did I encourage that?
Yep.
It's a mind fuck.
It really is. Also, the worst thing about the end of this pregnancy has been my heartburn, which is saying so much, because I'm also having pelvic bone pain and stuff.
Yeah.
This heartburn, my heartburn has been so bad.
I had to go on medication for both of them.
For heartburn?
Mm-hmm.
That sucks. I've just been powering through on the smoothie top, not the smoothie. The chewy.
Do they help you?
Yeah, only the chewy ones. So
that's what
powdery ones. I don't like, but the
those
chewy
ones
are good.
Would help in the beginning, and then it just got to a point that it was constant heartburn in it. I
can't drink. It's for me at night. It's water, which is really annoying because I'm really thirsty. But I can't. I can't drink. If I drink too much in the evening, it makes it it's just pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not. it's just pressure. And I think it's just like because of the way that they're like pushing on your stomach or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good one. This is a really good one, especially for people who work for themselves. Like we just had a baby, we're allowed to relax. Like you need to relax. And I think this is especially hard for first time moms who are used to having a clean house and like being on top of everything, that like letting go of that is really hard. And
let go of it.
You have to let go. You can't do it all at once, which is basically like what she's saying. After she had her first, she thought that she still needed to be able to deep clean the house and cook all of their meals daily. And so she was trying to do all those things and burning herself out because you can't, like,
it's too much.
It's too much. It's such a, like, you're learning so much during that time. Like, let it go. It's okay if the dishes are piled up in the sink for a day or two. It's okay if you're not vacuuming every day. Like, it's totally fine.
Yeah. You gotta take care of yourself.
Yes. This was a good one, but we also just talked about this. This is another thing that she said was, like, having somebody start a meal train or have someone come over to make a big batch of freezer meals for you.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm so weird about food. Like, weird about leftovers. Like, I can't do it. So I've never actually prepped food.
Yeah. Has anyone ever brought you food?
Yes.
Oh, also, Jake's cousin did this with Lennon. Just sent, like, a DoorDash gift card.
See, that is what I would be all about.
Yeah.
That's what I would be all about.
That, like, I remember getting that because I sent, like, an actual gift card in the mail, and I was like, oh, okay, yep. Yeah. That's the way people should do it.
Because, I just, like, I don't know, I really struggle with food. Yeah. I struggle with food, like, even, like, not postpartum, and, I don't know, food is weird for me.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes postpartum, too, like, well, you're, like, eating, I don't know, I eat more, and, like, sometimes eating, like, the same thing over and over and over is just, like, even if it was a good meal, like.
So, like, I don't want to fill my freezer with casseroles.
Right.
Because the thought of eating mush, you get, like, because casseroles are, like, generally, like, mush. Like, the thought of eating bowls of mush for, like, weeks on end makes me want to vomit.
You want good food. And
I'm sure they're tasty, but, like, I just can't do it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know, maybe it's a texture thing or, like, a mixed together. I don't know. Food's a weird thing for me. I can't do it. So, I don't know, but I do make sure that I have, like, good, easy to grab stuff on hand. Otherwise, I won't eat anything.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to cook anything.
No.
And then I'm just, like, busy.
So the last thing you want to be doing is cooking.
I do a lot of trail mix postpartum because it's easy to just, like, throw nuts in your mouth and then it's actually, like, filling and nutritious.
It's huge. My mind. That's going to be the title of this one.
Throw nuts in your mouth. I like it. Oh
my God. I don't know.
And, like, in that same vein, like, relax. Like, it is not a flex to be like, oh my gosh, I shot a wedding at 6 weeks postpartum. No, please rest.
I know the amount of people I see, especially photographers, because it's just, like, weird balancing your business anyways, but
I specifically feel like it's always first time moms that do this.
Yeah.
And it makes me so sad because they don't have the wisdom, they don't know.
Yeah.
They feel like they should be doing that or they have to be doing that to keep up. And like you please don't do that. You don't need to do that. If you are restless and you want to do that, like, totally fine.
Yeah.
But don't
feel like you have
to. You do not have to be doing that.
Your business is going to be there still.
Yeah, like, and you're still making money to pay an associate to shoot it for you.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I know. I see that all the time and it stresses me out.
It does.
But I guess I do also get it as, like, a first-time mom and, like, maybe you do need that income and you feel like you need to be working right away, but, like, don't.
No.
Give yourself a little time.
Right.
Especially emails and stuff. Like, don't be checking that. I think we talked about this, like, putting on, like,
set up a thing.
Yeah, like the automated.
Yep.
Yeah. Give yourself time to breathe.
Yes. Also, this is, like, a really weird sidebar because I feel like what I shared today will shock the pants off of people. So, after our first mental health episode, I went home and Zach was like, after it, like, came out, Zach was like, I listened to your episode today. And I was like, okay. And he was like, how you gonna have a mental health episode and then make it be a fake ass mental health episode? And I was like, what? And he was like, you didn't share anything of relevance. You didn't share anything about what you have been through this year. And I just, like, kind of stared at him. I was like, well, because it's not, like, my information to tell.
Yeah.
And he was like, this, like, what we have been through and, like, what I have put you through is just as much your, like, that's happening to you, too.
Yeah.
So, like, you're allowed to talk about it. I'm gonna cry because that's
good.
all I do. But, so I don't usually talk about it because I don't feel like it's my place to. Even though he's, like, constantly like, no, like, this is happening. Like, this is you. Like, this is happening to you, too. Like, this is part of your life, too. Like, you're allowed to talk about it.
But I get wanting to keep that private for his sake.
Right. Like, I don't ever want to, like, put him on blast or make people think that he's, like, I don't know, I feel like there's, like, such a stigma around him. Like, no, there is. Like, he's, like, crappy or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking, this is veering off on a tangent, but I was just thinking about, like, this thing that I saw on Instagram about how we, like, classify addicts and alcoholics as, like, high functioning. And he is high functioning, and you would never guess that, like, we have been through the shit that we've been through, that he has struggled in the way that he has struggled because we have a successful small business and we are, like, fully functioning with kids and, like, all of these things. And I was reading this and I was like, okay, like, I literally hate that they classify it as that, because, like, it makes sense that they, like, if you can still pay your bills and live and, like, be presentable to society as a functioning human being, you're good. But, like, it doesn't take into consideration, like, the impact on, like, your own mental health or your family or any of these things. So, I don't know. I read that and I was like, yeah, okay, the words high functioning, like, that makes me, like, ragey because it's not true.
Yeah.
It's all, like, fake.
Yeah.
It's presented that way because we're paying our bills and we have a successful small business and all these things, but his mental health is in the shitter. And, like, we have been through so much. That's not, like, as a functioning, that's not being a functioning human being.
No, it's not. Well, I'm glad that he, I was going to say gave you permission, but, like, told you
like,
to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know. So.
Because it's good for you, too.
Well, right. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like, I think I did. I shared this at the first that he had been sober for a while and whatever, and that, like, him going to meetings impacts, like, my, like, when I can work, because that's obviously something that we do prioritize.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what context I shared it in, but I did share it because I got home later that day, and one of the girls that had come had messaged me and was like, wow, thank you for sharing that. Like, I'm going through that with my husband too. And that's not something that, like, it's not something that we talk about. And I don't know. So I thought that was cool that it was like, okay, I shared that and it actually was relevant for somebody.
Yeah. I'm sure
but anyway,
it will be for more people.
That was, like, a tangent that has nothing to do with this episode, but.
Well, kind of.
But anyway, so that's why I actually was honest about that part of it impacting my mental health and my postpartum experience.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get called out again for not being real on our mental health episode when he listens to this episode.
Well, good for him for listening.
Yeah. He wanted to listen to our Moonwater episode. He's like, I watched the clip like 10 times. He was like, I wanted to listen to it. I haven't listened to it yet.
Did you think we were funny?
Yeah.
Okay, because I showed it to Jake and he was like, he just, like, stared at me. I'm like, okay.
But he was like, he specifically said, he was like, you've been, like, in such, like, a grouchy mood. Like, I've been so stressed. So it was just nice to, like, watch you laugh. Thanks.
I don't think, Jake definitely hasn't listened to any of them. I wonder if he will.
Oh, if he doesn't listen, how is he going to know that we're talking shit about him?
I know.
Or advocating for a third baby?
I can talk all this shit.
Oh.
He did say, though, he keeps bringing up
that they want to be on.
They need to be on an episode.
Yes.
Because, you know, they're going to make it.
Maybe we should schedule that in.
We'll let them figure it out. Okay, so there was only one other thing I pulled up on here because I was curious. But it says, did your pregnancy or postpartum mental health illness rob you of something?
Somebody asked that?
It was just like a post on this
page. Sure.
And I thought that was...
I think about this all the time.
Yeah.
And I think about it, I've been thinking about it more so this time because I am more open to medication.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, so, okay, I'm just outing all of my loved ones today. My little sister has ADHD. and she got diagnosed when she was like, I don't know, 10 or something.
Okay.
And my mom was like very anti-medication, but at the
Mhm.
time I think they only had stimulants as like the like Ritalin or something
Yeah,
as like
yeah.
the like go-to med.
Mhm.
So because, and I'm not like, my parents made the best decision that they thought at the time, like that's fine, and we know so much more now than we
Right.
did then, whatever. But my parents, or my mom specifically, had like drilled in their head so much that like you're not getting on meds, you're not getting on meds, you're not getting on meds,
Mhm.
that now as a 23-year-old adult, she could 100%, like she needs to be on medication. And I feel bad because of how much, like I see how much that could like benefit her to be a better, like a, and for her life to be easier,
Mhm.
for it to be easier for her to function, because she also has debilitating anxiety. We all do, like in my family apparently. And it hurt, like it hurts me to like see her like struggle so much when like she could, this would,
Mhm.
I know it would help her.
Yeah.
And so I've been thinking about that in relation to my own self, which is not something I usually give myself the grace for, but it makes me wonder how different all of my experiences would have been if I wouldn't
Mhm.
have been like struggling so much.
Yeah.
So I feel like it like robbed me of like my ability to enjoy it almost, because I
Mhm.
was just so hyper focused on everything else.
Yeah. That's what I was. That's similar. I feel like more so with Lennon, maybe. I feel like because I felt so overstimulated and stuff that it like I didn't soak it in
Yeah.
as much as I could have. Like I felt like I remember with Axel, even though I was so anxious, like did not mind being awake in the middle of the night. Like even though I was tired, I didn't feel tired. I just wanted to like stare at him.
Yeah.
And with Lennon, I just felt so overwhelmed that I didn't feel that same, and I felt like so guilty for
Yeah.
feeling that way. So I feel like it took that away from my experience with her.
With Beckham, I, now in hindsight, my anxiety was so bad with him that I couldn't do anything else but like be with him and hold him. So like I barely cleaned, I barely cooked, like I barely showered,
Yeah.
all of these things because I was so like I couldn't take a shower unless somebody else was home to hold him in the bathroom while I showered, because if I put him in a bouncer, he would cry
I still feel like that.
and just cry. And now, like, sorry, Camilla, and Tallulah both, because they cried a lot because I finally learned that, like,
Yeah.
okay, like somebody's got to cry,
Mm-hmm.
and it sucks, but like this is just the reality of multiple kids. But like I couldn't handle that with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I did feel like I got to soak it all in with him because I literally ignored everything else because I had to be constantly caring for him or something was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I did. I got to soak in all the snuggles with him and like all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
Because I felt like that was literally all I could do.
Yep.
But
And
then like
was with Axel.
my mental health probably suffered more because the house is a mess and like all of these things that are triggers for me now that I'm aware of that are triggers for me now. So that probably like contributed to how crappy I was feeling. But yeah, I remember with Tallulah, I was like doing school drop off 2 days after she was born and like all of that. And she was like 10 days old. And I looked at Zach and I just started sobbing. And I was like, I just want to hold I just want to snuggle with my baby. I feel like she's 10 days old and I feel like I haven't even been able to like snuggle with her because I'm worried about the big kid. Like I still have to do everything for them because they were only 3 and 2.
Yeah.
And he took them out on a Saturday to his parents' house, and I was a ball of nerves because he was driving them. This was like the first time that they had like left me, and for the day, like all of my family, and they left and they went to his parents for the day, and my kids got to run and like have all this fun. While I literally just was like my orders were to sit on the couch and just hold her.
Yeah.
And it was weird.
It's so hard learning to like, because I still feel that way with like Lennon and Axel, but like bringing her home, I was so nervous to like for Axel to feel like we weren't paying attention to him, and then to feel guilty that like Lennon wasn't getting 100% because Axel got 100% of me when it was just him. So like, it's weird. I feel you never really feel like you got it figured out when it comes to that, but it's hard trying to figure out that balance between multiple kids and you know. No, I want to go snuggle my kids, even though they're driving me nuts this morning.
I realized yesterday that my time with Camilla is coming to an end because it's just her and I when all the kids are at school.
Yeah.
And it made me really sad. Like that just hit me yesterday. So it doesn't really get easier. It gets easier because you know that the transition will be okay. You know that your heart will have more room. It's not like as intense as it was at like that first, like going from 1 to 2.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, so like she's not gonna be the baby anymore.
Right.
And she was so very much the baby. She was supposed to be the baby.
I was gonna say
such a weird. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
But last night I crawled into bed and I went to bed so late, like 11:30 or something, and circling back to what we talked about earlier, we co-sleep. And so she's in my bed. So I scooted her over so I could get in my spot, and it like half woke her, and I don't sleep in pants because he wants to sleep in pants. And she lifted she was like rubbing my belly, like my shirt was lifted up. She was rubbing my belly, and then in her half asleep state, she gave my belly a kiss and a hug, and then laid back and went right to sleep. It was so cute. So I think she's gonna be okay. But
yeah, sweet girl.
She's pretty sweet. What else we got? Anything else? How long is this episode gonna be?
An hour?
Oh, that's not bad.
Can't read that.
An hour and 8 or 6 or something. I don't know. I can't see either. I need to get my eyes checked.
I know. I'm like, I feel like I just got a new prescription this year, but I can't see.
Well, so my eyes have changed with
pregnancy,
like during pregnancy, because of like the swelling and the pressures and stuff, and then they change again postpartum. So every time I've been pregnant, I feel like for like a whole year I can't see because I'm not gonna go and like order contact, like change it if it's just gonna change. I know it's gonna change again because that's the pattern.
Yeah.
Because I think hormones affect it too.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I felt like I could see really good, like, at the doctor when they were doing it, and then, like, a month later, I'm like, I can't see anymore.
Yep.
So that's fun.
My left eye has, like, a slight astigmatism, but it, like, goes in and out of having astigmatism. And, like, right now, my contacts have the astigmatism correction in my left eye, but I don't need it in my glasses.
Oh.
So, like, right now, I can see better in my glasses than I can in my contacts because of the astigmatism correction. I don't know, but I think it's like pressure. Like has to do with like the pressure in my body. It's weird. It's so weird. It's weird. I have to pee.
Okay.
So I guess that's it for today's
mental
health episode.
Take care of your mental health.
Yep.
And also reach out to us.
Yeah, literally. We've been through it in many ways.
Yeah. Because that's obviously one of our goals is we want people to feel like there's a community.
Yep.
And to be able to talk about these things.
Yes, so we got you.
Yeah. And we'll see you next time.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.